I'm Mike from St. Thomas Economic Development, here in front of a huge hole with another little update. Okay, we're here at the site of D-WRF, which is the Dalewood Water Reclamation Facility, and we're joined once again by the one and only Pat Anckaert. Pat, how you doing?
Good. How about you, Mike?
Doing very well. Now, we're standing here in front of a giant hole. Pat, can you tell us what this is that's behind us?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Mike. So like you said, we're at the Dalewood Water Reclamation Facility. Now, some of you may wonder, why do we have to build this project? Why do we need another water reclamation facility? Well, we do have one. It's on Sunset and Bush Line in the city of St. Thomas. That facility is reaching capacity. We do anticipate that it will be full in the near term, so somewhere between 3 and 5 years, depending on growth of the city. So to allow the city to grow, to keep building homes, schools, hospitals, all those good things, we need another facility to be able to grow. So that is really what triggered this project. Again, it's called Dalewood Water Reclamation Facility. And what it does is it cleans our wastewater. It does that through 7 different steps. So the first step is the wastewater enters the headworks building, where it goes through screening and grit. So it removes things like rags, any large debris. After that, it goes to our primary tank, where some settling occurs of the larger solids. After primaries, it goes into what we call the bioreactor, which is really the heart of the plant. What happens in the bioreactor is that we harness microorganisms that are already in the wastewater to really break down and essentially eat any of those harmful substances that are in the wastewater. What that does is it then allows them to settle out. The bioreactor, what we do is we actually add air into it, and by adding air, we turbocharge that natural process that's already existing in the environment. After it goes through the bioreactor, it goes to our secondary clarifiers. Again, more of those substances settle out. They're collected as well, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. After secondaries, it goes through our tertiary filtration system, which is 4-meter discs with a pile cloth media filter that filter out a lot of the nutrients that remain in that wastewater. It then gets hit with a little bit of UV to just neutralize any remaining pathogens before being returned into Kettle Creek. Some of you may be wondering about, well, what happens to those things that are settled out and collected? Well, that goes back to our solids processing facility, we call it. And so what that does is there's a lot of nutrients in those solids, and it essentially takes that material and turns it into a fertilizer that can be reused, and then those nutrients get put back into the nutrient cycle. So that's a really, really good thing. In terms of project schedule, so what I just talked about, it's a bit complicated. So we're about a 3-year build on this one. So 2026 now, and then we expect to be able to accept first flows about halfway through 2029.
Okay, well, that's very exciting. Now, this hole that we're standing in front of, this is a secondary clarifier. Is that what this is?
That's right. It's the secondary clarifiers. At the far east side of this hole, there's actually a tunnel as well that will house all of the various conduits and pipes that run from north to south in the plant. And then just a little bit to the north, the hole, it's not quite all the way done, but it's actually the start of the bioreactor that's been excavated. To my right, or the far west side of the site, thank you, Mike, there's some berms. Those are about 6 meters tall. We intend to plant trees on those berms as well, and then possibly add a bit of a natural hiking trail on top that could also be used for mountain biking and tied into the mountain bike park across the street. So that's pretty cool. The berms, so not only will they add to the aesthetics, but they'll act as a bit of a windbreak as well. So that should help alleviate some of the odor concerns that we've heard about. Another good thing about this project is we want to use local contractors as much as possible. So the folks that excavated this hole are just down the road from Woodstock. We have some folks behind us from St. Mary's doing some concrete work. And then just recently for the structural steel, that's been awarded to Steelway. So some of you may know that as they're from Elmer. So that's really good to hear.
Yeah, that's great. It's always good when we can use local contractors to do jobs like this. We don't want to bring guys in from too far away. So that's great. This is an exciting project. It's not something that we think about a lot, but truthfully, wastewater treatment is one of the underpinnings of modern civil society. Like I'm glad we don't live in the eras where we just throw everything out in a bucket onto the street and it slowly washes down. So Pat, thank you for your good work on this project. We look forward to sending our flows to you for treatment in the middle of 2029. And we look forward to getting back here to look at all the other big holes and other developments that'll go on this property.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Looking forward to it.
Thank you all so much for tuning in. Please like our videos on YouTube and don't forget to
smash that subscribe button.